Oysters are a great thing to have at your holiday party. They're elegant and classy, and I especially like to dress them with a mignonette. Delicious. I'm gonna start with a shallot, classic mignonette ingredient. We're gonna go really small, like a brunoise. You don't need much because you don't want to mask the flavor of the oysters. Add some vinegar. You can use anything that you have around for a mignonette, as long as you have a decent vinegar. Now the key to a good mignonette is to balance the vinegar with something sweet. Here we're using honey. Salt. Mix it well enough to where the honey is dissolved into the vinegar. Best thing to do when you're starting to cut a pear or any fruit for that matter, you want to cut the bottom off. That way it won't roll around, you won't cut yourself. You can use any pear that you want with this recipe. Diageo pears or the Bosc pears. You can even use apples, and if it's summertime, you can do this with a cucumber. So then you take the pieces that you cut very thin, and you cut them into matchsticks. Okay, we're gonna set this aside and let it marinate while we shuck our oysters. Whenever you're opening an oyster, you wanna make sure that you're using an oyster knife and not a clam knife. It has a nice curvy edge to it. And what you do is you find the little lip of the oyster and you run your knife into it. And make sure that you point the knife away from your palm of your hand. That way if you do slip, you won't stab your hand. When you get your knife in, you just twist it up and scrape the top of the shell so that you separate it from the valve, like that. And then you scrape off the little bits that have accumulated around the edge from opening it. And then you want to release it from its bottom valve. This is where the curving comes into play. It takes a little bit of time and practice to do this quickly. You can also get your fishmonger to open them for you. Now when you're opening oysters, if you get one that doesn't have a lot of brine in it and it's dry, then just don't serve it. It's probably not good. And now mignonette. Mignonettes are pretty versatile. We're using pear. It adds a little bit of seasonality to this dish. A seasonal mignonette gives you a little bit more originality than just using your horseradish and cocktail sauce. I love serving raw oysters for the holidays. They're always a hit for the party. Here we have raw oysters with sweet pear mignonette.